Hey guys, so we are up with the next question, which is question 3, longest substring without repeating characters. First of all, what is a substring? So, a substring is basically a contiguous substring within a string. For example, in this example number 1, ABC, A, B, C, B, B, if you'll consider any subpart of the string, that will be considered as a substring. You cannot escape characters basically. So, within the substring, we have to find the substring which is not having any sort of repeating characters, right? What it means is, let's see with an example. So if this is our string, right? In this string there are many substrings possible, so I'm not going to go into the detail of how many substrings are going to be there, but the ones which are not having repeated characters are A, B, C, right? This substring, it is not having any repeated characters, and see, we are not missing any part in between, so it is contiguous in nature, right? And the next substring that is not having any repeated character would be BCA, right? Afterwards it could be BCAD. This is also a substring without any repeating characters. Then BCADE, BCADEF, right? And afterwards A is coming again, so you can say that DEFA, and then DEFAB, DEFABC, and DEFABCG. So in all, maybe some cases could be there which I have missed, but just for example, now these are the substrings in which there is no repeating character, right? Now the question says that you have to find out the one which is having maximum characters. So for example, here we have 3 characters, right? Here we have 4 characters, here we have 6 characters, wherein this is the case where we are having 7 characters, 7 distinct characters. So our answer would be 7, that maximum characters in a substring that are possible with distinct all characters would be 7. The answer is going to be 7, right? So basically this is the question, and now we have to discuss the approach that we will be using. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to use a hash map. Okay, so hash map, why are we going to use it? Because while discussing the approach you'll get the understanding, right? So let's first of all understand a little sort of like, let's get an insight like how you're going to solve this question. So basically we're going to have 2 pointers, right? So the one which will be traversing the whole list or the whole string, and the other one which is going to be basically is going to tell us that what is the start of our new substring that we are considering, right? Further, so let's just start. For example, initially both the pointers are here, right? So right now we're checking that if A is present in the list or not. Of course it is not present, so we'll just mark this inside our key value pair. So A is the first character, which is the value is basically the index, that which last index was there on which A was present, right? So the last index on which A is there is 0, right? Basically it is the first one in a case. So what is the length of the substring right now? So the length of the substring is 0, right? Maximum will keep on updating, right? Now we are moving the first pointer, and now we are here on 1, right? So on 1 we are checking that what is the maximum length of the, sorry, first of all, is B repeated? So of course B is not repeated, so we'll enter this into the hash map, right? Afterwards we'll check the length of the substring. So right now the length of the substring is 2, so of course maximum would also be true at the moment. Then again C is also not there, so we'll enter C also into our hash map. So C is at index 2. Now again we're checking for the length of substring, which is simply what we are doing here is that the first pointer which we already have on 0, right? I may use a different color that will make more sense. The one of the pointer is at 0 only, we have not shifted it at the moment, and the other pointer is moving, right? So now we want to check what is the length of this substring. So it is 3, right? So we'll update the max also to 3. Now when we'll reach this place again, we are getting this A, right? So at this particular moment, because A is repeated, because it's already there inside our list, we can infer from this particular scenario that yes, A is basically is repeated, right? So now what we are going to do is that we are going to move this particular pointer to this place, right? Why are we going to do this? simple reason, because a is repeated, right? Again we'll calculate the length of the substring. It is 3 again, so we don't have to update the max, right? So now we are at D. So D is not there inside the list, so D, we'll enter the D inside our hash map. So D is at index 4, right? And also when we have got this new A now, we have to update this hash map, right? So A is now at the latest A that we have got is on this particular, at this third index, right? Now we were at D, so D is not repeated, so we can simply update this to 4, and now maximum will also be 4. Now we are at fifth index, that is E. So E is also not there inside our any of the substring, so we can increment the count to 5, and similarly 5 max is also updated. Then we have this F here, right? So F is also for the very first time is coming inside this string, so just increment the count to 6, right? Length is first incremented to 6, and then max is also incremented to 6. Now you can very well understand that this is 6, right? Because we are calculating from this distance, we are not using this distance because we have incremented this pointer, so we are just calculating that what is the current length. That would be simply this formula, that is 6 minus 1 plus 1, right? Basically 6 is the second pointer, and the first pointer is at index 1, and because we have to calculate, we have to include this particular position also, that's why this plus 1 is there, right? So it is a simple formula that is working. All right, so now we have to move on to the next index, that is 7, and now A is repeated again, right? Now our pointer was here, right? And we may have to shift this pointer based on the calculations. So first of all, what is the maximum length up till now? It is 6. So we have already updated our max to 6. Now we have to calculate the length of the string which has been formed after A, like after like wherever we have this repetition of A, we have to check that index. So it was this index where A was basically present before, right? So first of all, we'll move this pointer to D, right? Because this is a new place for the, this will be a new place from where we'll be starting counting for our string, right? And afterwards we can calculate the new length. The new length is 4, but because 4 is less than this max, that is 6, that is why we will not update our max. For now our max will keep this same value, that is 6, right? But we'll update our length because now the string under consideration is only this much, because we have to move our pointer to next of A, right? So A was here, we have to move our pointer next to A, right? We have done it before also when we were moving it to B, right? Now also we are doing the same thing, and this time when we calculated the length, it was 4. We updated the length to 4, but maximum will not be updated, right? Okay, we can again start the process, that is we'll move this yellow pointer to B. So B is also again repeated. Now look at this particular thing. Okay, one more thing that we haven't done here is that because A has got its new index at 7, so we have to keep on updating this key value pair also, right? So now B, again we are getting B, right? Now the first place where we have first seen this B was at first index, right? Now we have to calculate that what will be the new substring length, right? So the one of the very basic thing here would be that we can move this pointer only if this pointer is going in the forward direction. We cannot move it to backward direction, because in the backward direction already there is a part of there are some characters which have been repeated, which we don't want to include again. If we'll move this pointer to 1 plus position from B, that is B is here, and if we'll move this pointer to this particular location, then A will also be included, which we have just seen that, which will give us the false results. So we cannot do this, right? We cannot move this pointer in the backward direction. This blue pointer has to go in forward direction only, and this is the reason that at this time when we have again seen this B, we have again noticed this B coming, we have no impact on this particular situation of this B, because we have already left that B, right? So this string which we are considering at the moment is starting from D, so we have no problem with this B, right? So but then too we'll just update this length to this index to 8, but length will be incremented with plus 1 only. So now the new length is 5, right? That is 4 plus 1 is 5. So with by including b, we are making the length to be 5. But again, max will not be updated because of course 6 is less than 5. Again, yellow pointer will be updated, will be incremented to 9, and c. So again, c is also there, but again the pointer is in forward direction, right? It means the pointer, wherever the pointer is pointing at the moment, is basically ahead of the index that c is showing, that is 2, of course. Then we can simply move this pointer to g, and of course we have to update the index of c also. So c will be at 9th index now, and now we are at g, right? G is showing index 10 and we have not included it yet, so we'll include it and we'll increment the counter to 6, right? I think one increment hasn't been done because 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so this was the 7th count, right? So at this position our length has been incremented by 1 and it is 7. Now 7 is greater than 6, so we can update our max also, right? Now our pointer is at 11th position, that is c, and c is repeated this time, right? But also the thing that we have to notice here is that this time c's index, that is 9, is ahead of the blue pointer. So now we have to move this blue pointer and we'll move it to 10, right? So even if there is a string ahead, we can just go on traversing like this. So we have to move our blue pointer only if it is in a forward direction. The movement is in along the forward direction. We cannot move the blue pointer in the back direction. This is the simple logic that is being followed here. All right. So at the end, whatever the max would be will be our final answer. Okay. So the final answer is 7. So this is what we will be returning. So I hope this explanation is clear. Now let's move on to the implementation part. So let's start. Okay, so let's start with the implementation part now, right? So yes, and I think this cannot move any further. So basically it can move, but it's not moving at the moment. So let's start with the very basic things that we have discussed, that there's going to be an I pointer which is going to travel the whole string. Then there's going to be a j pointer which is basically telling us that what is a part of the substring from where we are starting the consideration for the substring, right? Then there's going to be a max which is initially 0, and there is going to be a length which is 0. Now you can say that we can calculate this length based on the position of I and j at any moment. Then why do we need this length? So basically it is just for the reason that I want to make it look a little clear to the users, so that is the viewers. So that is why I'm using this extra variable length. Otherwise, if you want, you can just just can do the whole process without using length with the help of I and j also. That's up to you. So next thing would be to instantiate a map. So for that, let's have a map in which the first key basically will be the character which are appearing in the strings, which are distinct in nature, and the second thing would be integer, that is for the index, right? And let's name it as map, and inside it now we will have we will be storing all the things. So let's basically, this is the declaration, and afterwards we can now start with the loop. So while I is less than s dot length, till then we can keep on iterating over the string. Now first of all, let us check that if the character inside this string, is it present in the map or not, right? So we are saying that if map contains key, right? Which key? So the character. Which character? So s dot char at I, is this character present in the map or not, right? If it is present, then it is fine. If it is not present, then what do we need? So we need to insert it inside this map. So map dot put. So if condition will write afterwards, but if it is not present, then map dot put. What do we have to put here? So we have to put this s dot char at I, right? This character we have to put with the index. So this is something that we have done, right? Afterwards, the next thing would be to increment the length also, right? That is, so right now because it was not present in the list, it means you can increment the count of length, that the substring length will be incremented by 1 at this moment, right? And now you can compare, that is math.max of, you can compare this max with the length. Whichever will be bigger will be assigned back to the max variable, right? And that's it. Now you can move on and you can iterate to the next character. Now suppose just like this we have iterated over a, b, c, and again this a is coming, right? At this moment when a is coming, see, j is still at 0th position only. Now we are coming back to a again, so it means that it will be inside this map at this moment, right? So now what we can do is that we can first of all get the index out, that is which index was there for a before, that is stored inside this hash map. So we'll get it back from there, right? So let's name it as index. So previous index, basically previous index for a or for any character would be something that we can get from map. So map dot contains, not contains, but map dot get the value for which key. So s dot char at I for this key, just get the value, right? Get the previous index. And then what do? Then we set our j to previous index plus 1. But when do we do this? We do this only if the previous index that we are getting from the map is greater than the j or even equal to j, right? In this condition only do we need to do this, otherwise we can just skip this part. We don't have to set j otherwise, right? Means the previous index, if anywhere it is okay, so if anywhere the previous index is greater, then previous index is the one which we are getting from the list. So we are saying that if j is greater, then j is the next index that we're getting, right? So if j is anywhere greater than the previous index, then we don't have to do anything. But if it is smaller, right, if j is smaller or equal to the previous index, then we have to set j to previous index plus 1. That's it. Okay, now we have set the index. Now we have to calculate the length again, right? What is the length? So length is j minus I, right? So yes, so a plus 1 has to be done, but because here pe we have this length plus, so it's okay, it will be calculated from this place. You remember this plus 1 has to be done, right? So this is it, and at the end I think we can return our max. So let's return it, because this time at this particular moment the max will contain the maximum height, maximum length of the substring, which has all the distinct characters. So let's run the program. Now right now we are checking if any of the test case fails, right? So the initial test cases are passing. So now let's submit it. Okay, for this particular string there is some problem in the code. Let's find it out. So the string is dvdf and the output is 2, wherein the expected output is 3. So the thing that's happening here is, let's think about it. So here we have to think of like so let's submit the code. I've just made a few changes. For example, in this particular case, what I've done is that I have put it this length inside and this math.max, I guess. This is it. No other changes are there. So let's submit it. Okay, so the solution is accepted, and it is for I think 1 millisecond, this submission. So that's it, I guess. And I just want to show you that it was a very we want to check this particular solution, right? So it was with runtime 6 milliseconds, right? It is also based on like how much time, how fast your internet is. It's also based on that. So it can differ in your cases, right? So this is basically the optimum solution that we can have for this problem. So this is it, and if you have any sort of problem regarding this problem, just let me know. If for any doubts, and if you want any type of other explanation for the code, I'll definitely do that. So that's it for this problem. Thank you guys.